In this video, I'm going to share with you how to become a more strategic thinker and give you some of the frameworks and strategies that I use to help me operate my businesses and build my agencies and really just run my entire life. Strategic thinking is one of those skills that is definitely worth learning because it's going to pay off for days and weeks and months and years to come. After all, everything we do involves some set of making decisions and evaluating different alternatives and really trying to identify the best option and solution for you. And this need to think critically, to make strategic decisions, both in your business and in your life and in your career and in your relationships, well, it's not going away anytime soon. After all, for as long as humans have been here, we've been making decisions on a pretty much daily basis. From the simple and mundane, like what should I eat for breakfast or what should I wear today, to the more critical and more important and more severe, like which career opportunity should I pursue or which relationship should I start or end. And the rate at which we're presented with new information and things are changing all around us is only accelerating and getting significantly faster. In fact, it's been estimated that the average person makes around 35,000 decisions every single day. 226.7 decisions on food alone. I don't know what that 0.7 of a decision would be. Maybe to eat like 0.7 of a pizza. That seems like a healthy choice. And all of these decisions are just the remotely conscious decisions. When you factor in all of the unconscious decisions and the things that are taking place behind the scenes, well, this number gets frighteningly, staggeringly high. In fact, some behavioral psychologists say that up to 90% of our decisions are unconscious. So with this many decisions to make, both consciously and unconsciously, and sometimes our lives literally at stake, well, it only makes sense to fully understand the forces at play so you can use them to your advantage and to make the best and most strategic decision possible. But before I dive in and show you exactly how to make all of that happen, first, a little bit of background information on the brain. Your brain, just like my brain and the brains of basically everybody else, is an amazing tool, and it only has one job, one priority, and one focus, and that is to keep you alive, period, full stop. It's not to make you happy, it's not to help you find your passion, and it's not to help you live a joyful and balanced life. It's there to make sure you don't die. In other words, if what you're trying to do isn't related to helping you move or eat or reproduce or sleep or fight, it's just not a priority for your brain. Unfortunately for us, this means that many, if not most of the things that we want to accomplish in business and in life are going to take some mental effort. In some cases working with our brains, and in other cases trying to hack our brains to get them to do what we want them to do. But can we count on our brains to come through for us when things matter most? Indeed we can. But in order to do that, we first need to destroy what is perhaps the most harmful decision-making fallacy of all time, decision fatigue. Decision fatigue is the theory that your willpower is a finite resource and gets used up throughout the day as you make more and more decisions. This is why the traditional advice exists to do most of your heavy and intensive and exhausting work early in the day when your willpower is at its absolute peak. And to try to minimize those less important or possibly even unimportant decisions, things like maybe deciding what to wear by setting out your clothes ahead of time, or maybe just having a set uniform that you pretty much wear every single day. Like Steve Jobs with his famous black turtleneck and jeans, Mark Zuckerberg with his hoodie, or Barack Obama with his suit. This is also why traditional advice like making sure to eat a snack throughout the day in order to keep your blood sugar stable is so popular and suggested as well. A famous study that was conducted on Israeli judges found that they were more likely to grant parole first thing in the morning or right after lunch after they've had a chance to sort of replenish their glycogen stores. Because nobody likes you when you're hangry. Now, I don't know about you, but this sounds perfectly logical to me. It's why I can eat healthy pretty much all day, but as soon as the day is done and I've put the kids down for sleep and I'm sitting there exhausted and pretty much just drained, I get these cravings for ice cream and Oreos that takes pretty much everything I have just to say no. But what if decision fatigue wasn't real? You know, just a myth. A lie that we've been told and have fully bought into as a way to sort of relieve ourselves of our responsibilities and to sort of justify our actions. Well, according to Carol Dweck, professor of psychology at Stanford University and the author of one of the most important psychological books of all time about developing an ever-changing and growing mindset known as mindset, well, decision fatigue is both real and imagined, depending on what you believe. So here's what she has to say on decision fatigue. While decision fatigue does occur, it primarily affects those who believe that willpower runs out quickly. People get fatigued or depleted after a taxing task only when they believe that willpower is a limited resource, but not when they believe it's not so limited. Now this is great news for high achievers because it means that we can start to look for other ways to increase our motivation and sustain our momentum over time. And the best place to start is by practicing being more decisive with things that just don't really matter. Let me explain. If you want to learn how to become a more strategic thinker in order to tackle bigger and more important problems, then it helps to have a practice routine in place. You know, a safe space for you to flex your decision-making muscles when the stakes are low and do so in a way that helps you build confidence in your ability to choose. Now, the following exercise may sound silly at first, but I strongly suggest giving it a try before dismissing it. See, when I first left the corporate world to strike out on my own as an entrepreneur, one of the biggest problems I had was making decisions. For my entire life up until that point, somebody had always told me what to do and how to do it. First at home, and then at school, and then at work, whether it was parents or teachers or bosses. Basically everybody was making my decisions for me and providing some kind of a safety net that would never really allow me to fail too badly or fall too far. Then I started my own business, and all of that was gone. I, personally, was responsible for everything. At first, the fear was paralyzing, and I found myself basically second-guessing every single decision I made, over-analyzing potential moves and getting stuck in the analysis paralysis stage where most of my time was spent thinking and never really acting. And this inability to make a decision wasn't just limited to important business decisions. Rather, it spilled over and started to impact every other area of my life, second-guessing what I would wear and what I should eat and what I should read and what time I should go to bed and what time I should wake up and everything in between. It was then that a coach of mine stepped in and offered what is still to this day one of the best pieces of advice that I've ever been given when it comes to becoming more decisive. Here's what he told me to do. He told me to go out to dinner to a restaurant with my friends or family. He wanted me to then pick up the menu, scan it very quickly, we're talking 5 to 10 seconds at most, pick something, and then close the menu. That was it. No reading all the descriptions, no evaluating the prices, no asking what it came with or what it didn't come with, just picking something and then being done. 10 seconds max. Now what's funny about this simple exercise is, first of all, just how incredibly simple and obvious and almost silly it sounds, and yet how profoundly impactful it was and how much transference there was into other areas of my life. From the small and trivial things like what to wear to the larger things like where to go on vacation or what car to drive or what business opportunity to pursue. All of these decisions that used to take up precious time in my day and then I used to struggle over and cross-reference and evaluate and basically agonize whether I was making the right decision or after the fact if I'd made the right decision, all that was gone and things were just fine. In fact, in most cases, they turned out even better. Proof that maybe sometimes you don't make the right decision, but the decision you make can always be made right. That sounds like a motivational poster to me. So to help you make better and more strategic decisions, I've got a few more powerful frameworks that I want to share with you, and you can get access to them right now just by clicking the video right over there. So make sure to check it out now, and I'll see you in the next episode. Evaluate different options objectively, and come up with a plan to help you make tough decisions and make sure that they're the right choices for you. And that's my goal for introducing you to these 3 powerful mental frameworks and models that